Hello one and all, Jasper here, and I know the title is a bit clickbaity, but I hope you all give me a break and watch the video before disliking, alright? Because hey, even though this is the first episode I was disappointed in, it doesn't mean it's bad. I just didn't enjoy it as much as previous episodes. Let's not waste your time anymore though and just jump in, because honestly, this episode has the strongest start of all of them so far. Egg sneaks off with Dunk's warhorse Thunder and seems to practice and train with it, and the entire scene of the lad playing pretend at being a squire during a joust brings me back to when I was his age and I would do the same thing. Ah, fuck it, who am I kidding? I still do that shit. Yeah, no doubt in my mind, this is way better than having a man shipped by a tree or another man groping a fucking 2-foot hog. While taking a small break though, a one-eyed man named Robin Riesling approaches and accuses Egg of stealing the horse, which is kind of right. I mean, imagine you came across a 10-year-old with a Bugatti. Are you going to think it's theirs? Now, Robin here is a character from the books, and like many so far, is given a bit more, as in the source, he kind of just shows the fuck up out of nowhere at the end. Fuck me, I don't even think he says a single line. Though in this case it seems like Robin doesn't know who Egg is, while in the books it seems far more likely that he would know who Egg is. More on that later. Maybe. By later I mean next episode. Since this character has almost nothing to do in the books, they give him a little bit of spice, and they seem to go in the direction of him being a bit crazy, because the son of a bitch addresses himself as we, like he's Ermac from Mortal Kombat. They have a decent back and forth, though I will say, Egg is being a bit too smart, and it's starting to weigh on me just a bit. He always seems to have the perfect quip or remark, and he comes off as being much older than he is. This isn't something entirely unique to Egg, though. Gurm has a habit of his child characters being rather mature and competent. Arya is probably the biggest example of this, but it's just something that I've started to really take notice now. We later get some of those golden interactions between Dunk and Egg, though, that have been popping up constantly. Egg is a bit of a smartass, Dunk threatens to beat him, but it ends with Dunk teaching Egg how to sew like a proper man, which apparently Egg is becoming one, as he asks Dunk if it's normal for hair to be growing on his sack. We also get Egg singing a unique song for the show about the Blackfire Rebellion, and I know I made a comment about, hey, maybe my favorite cover artist will do a cover of this, but this one has a lot more meat on its bones, so I'm much more excited about this. Man, I wonder why Egg has such a strong dislike for the Blackfires, though. Dunk is upchucking his breakfast not far away, and I don't think it's because Egg isn't a particularly good singer. More likely, and pretty much guaranteed, it's because he's very nervous to do the joust. But he gets his resolve and tells Egg to prepare his armor, who reminds him that he can't joust today. Only the rich twats have the privilege, and he will have to wait for the next day, so he's been making himself worried sick for no reason. Dunk goes and buys some goose eggs, and poor guy, he sees Tanzanelle walk by and asks her if she likes goose eggs. And yeah, it's an awkward dumb question, but she shuts it down real fast by letting him know his shield will be done soon. Poor lad, we've all been there though. We see the two enjoy some of the festivities, jousting, which is so fucking boring. A second joust in the show, please. And yes, I'm going to keep bringing it up because I still think it's 7 layers of horseshit. House of the Dragon only gave us 1. We get some more sweet interactions between Dunk and Egg, but it's interrupted by Plumber, who gives us a nice spit transition. I swear, half of his lines are Hawk and the other are Tua. He makes an offer to Dunk, as apparently House Ashford is on some hard times, and so they want Dunk to challenge Lord Ashford's youngest son. Well, actually oldest, but in the show they make him the younger son, which seems odd, because he does have a named brother in the books who's younger, Robert, who takes part in the tourney as actually a fellow champion. Anyways, I take a few issues with this. For starters, why the fuck is Plumber doing this? It seems needlessly risky to ask this of Dunk. Well, maybe risky isn't the right word, but surely there were ways he could have simply hinted at or encouraged Dunk to challenge the man and just let the plan play out with Dunk being none the wiser, cause on first interactions, you wouldn't really expect someone like Dunk to really be interested in this, no matter how desperate he is. My second issue is that this is a waste of time. This is never a thing in the books, and while that has not been an issue with previous episodes, in this particular moment, It's an issue because it's going to lead to nothing, and given how the episode ends, I don't think I'm going to be bursting your bubble that much. This should have been cut and the time used for something better, which I'll talk about that later. We get to see, another boring joust, as Arion plans to engage and challenge one of the champions of the joust to take their place, and real fast, I fucking hate Arion's armor. Okay, maybe not his armor, but that helmet is shit. I feel like this would fit better in a playthrough of Cyberpunk. A fucking metal mohawk. Jesus, this prick really makes me want to hate him, and so far it's for the wrong reasons. Anyways, he chooses to challenge Sir Humphrey Harding. Now, we of course know things aren't going to go well here, as Arion decides to pull a Damon, but even worse, as he kills Humphrey's horse. Luckily, they stay true to the book, and Arion is somewhat punished, as he is told that he has to forfeit the match and give his horse away. Humphrey is clearly not going to be in any sort of jousting situation, though, because the horse fell on him and shattered his leg. Over at the Baratheon tent, Lionel is letting his Renly show, and... okay, I'm already in the minority on Lionel, so might as well keep going. I think Lionel's scenes are a waste of time. Not all of them. His first scene was okay, but the tug of war and now gay drunk singing of being fisted? Yeah, I think these moments could have been used for other characters. Want some examples? Well, how about Humphrey? Might seem like an asshole, but he is arguably more important to the story than Lionel is in the books, and some character development could have been grand. Imagine if instead of Lionel, Dunk had spent time with Humphrey as well as his brother-in-law, Humphrey Beesbury, which, what are the odds your brother-in-law shares your name? Anyways, if we had gotten to know him, it would have made the tragic injury hit much harder, because now it's done to a character who we care about. But nope. I imagine he will get some development in the next episode because I know how to read, but Lionel has sadly been pissing away good screen time. Anyways, back to the party scene itself, Dunk and Egg talk about the song. It feels like it's trying to be deep, but it's just not hitting for me. If I was in high school, I would have been blown away by how profound it is, but we spend a bit too much time with it, and I don't think it's going to lead to anything at all. Get a nice spike of quality though, as we get to hear Dunk and Egg talk back and forth about their father, or more so, Dunk tells Egg about his father, which is pretty much fucking all. Random ass fortune teller shows up, and Christ, I swear to God, if this bitch talks about the White Walkers coming, I will drive to Hollywood and pimp slap whoever keeps adding that aspect to make all these shows connected. Luckily for us, she does not, because she gives us one of those lazy-ass prophecies where there's no question about how it works. Or maybe it's because I read the books, but I'm pretty sure at the end anyone can figure out what the fuck she's talking about. This is like that one bitch who told Damon he will die at Harrenhal. Oh, I wonder what that could possibly mean. Seems like the two are on their way to the puppet show, but Raymond actually intercepts Dunk and invites him to have a drink of cider, which I am not gonna lie, as a cider man myself, Fossaway cider sounds really good about now. Egg goes to the puppet show with plans to bring the shield back, and while Dunk has a drink with Raymond, the Grey Apple Fossaway has a bit too much and starts to get as political as my family does during Thanksgiving dinner. Though he only speaks the truth, as he calls the Targaryens a bunch of inbred aliens, which, hey, no false statement found here. Now, someone bring up the statistics and point out how Targaryens are far more likely to kill you with dragonfire than any other race in Westeros. Curious. It cuts over to Egg watching the puppet show, and what is cool here is they're actually depicting a story of a knight named Serwyn of the Mirror Shield, who slew a dragon by using his shield to reflect the dragon's image and confuse the beast. Funny enough, when I saw this, I could only recall the sequel of the story, Brian Swan, who in 130 AC tried that same trick but was roasted for his attempt. That should have been the story adapted though, as apparently when Arion saw this depiction of the dragon getting killed, well, he wasn't so happy about it. Egg runs off to Dunk as Arion harms Tansanel, and yeah, I don't like this scene. Okay, maybe that's a bit harsh, but I do find myself disappointed. Dunk shows up, sees Arion break Tansanel's finger, and snaps as he goes and beats the piss out of Arion for a bit until he's restrained by the men-at-arms. This all feels much too fast, because in the books, as this entire thing plays out, it feels slower, more impactful, since maybe that's because everything needs to be described, but I also think the comic book does it better. After Arion breaks Tansanel's finger, Dunk slowly walks up. A guard gets in his way to stop him, but Dunk easily throws the man aside. It's silent, because it's a comic book, but I think that also just fits. When I read comics, I sometimes imagine music. Nothing original, I steal it from anything, so if a big battle's going around, I'll think of something from Two Steps from Hell, you know? But when I was reading this, silence just felt right. And when he grasps Arion's shoulder and proceeds to beat the piss out of him, guards swarm in to try and subdue him, and while they do succeed, Dunk still shows off his strength by throwing some of them around. And while we're talking about the comic book and kind of the book version, I don't like Arion. And I don't just mean because he's a cunt, but how the actor is portraying him. This feels like Damon 3.0 when Arion is supposed to be a much more gay, flamboyant character. More like Viserys in the first season of Game of Thrones. We already have Daemon and Damon 2.0 in House of the Dragon. We don't need a third one of these fuckers in this series. I want to be clear though, none of this is bad. This isn't like blood and cheese fuckery in House of the Dragon, where they replaced amazing writing with shit. This is all still done well, and I know most of my issues are more subjective rather than objective. But I do think that objectively, my subjective opinions are better. Back to the show though, Arion is about to give Dunk the old American History X treatment, but who else but Egg steps in to save the day, revealing that his name isn't Egg, but Aegon. What? Who could have seen that coming? I mean, I did, but I cheated because I read the books. If any one of you happen to be non-book readers who had no idea, what did you think of this reveal? All the hints felt pretty obvious to me, but it's easy to solve a puzzle when you know the answer. Again, this was a good episode. I didn't hate it, but this was the first episode where I was mostly disappointed with what we got compared to the books, while the show has been doing a pretty damn good job of giving us what the books had masterfully. Maybe my expectations were too high, or my anchoring bias refuses to accept things that are different, but I'm sure you'll all let me know in the comments below. That's it for this episode though. Until next time, stay safe, and I hope you all have a wonderful night.